Malaysia's economy is often touted as having a relatively better standard compared to its Southeast Asian neighbors. Its rise since its independence has proven to be an economic miracle, posting its biggest gains from 1980 when it had a nominal gross domestic product of only $26 billion to over $415 billion as projected by the end of 2022, a stunning increase. This has led its citizens to enjoy a per capita of over $12,000, one that is reported to be one of the best performances in the developing years of that 40-year timeframe. What has led to this is a lot of factors. We can attribute it to the strong human capital of Malaysia, the advancement of its manufacturing industry, and could attribute it to strong foreign investments the country has received, none of which, as we believe, come close to the country's overall export economy. Malaysia is, today, one of the biggest sources of manufactured products, commodities, and agriculture in the entire Asian Pacific, but most of it is really dominated by its manufactured products. According to the Malaysian External Trade Development Corporation, the country's overall exports in the last 3 years averaged around $250 billion, to which the latest year in 2021 was around $268 billion. This huge annual export figure is no short change of a number, as it is not too far from its overall economy as prescribed by its GDP. The entire export economy is even applauded, as it has also consistently posted a positive balance of trade since the start of the 21st century, imposing the fact that the country has emerged to become a crucial export-oriented nation. From 2010 to 2021, the country has, on average, had over 100 billion ringgit, or approximately around $20 billion of a positive balance of trade annually. This figure, as we noted earlier, is often dominated by its manufacturing industry, as its products are always finished when exported. The Department of Statistics Malaysia has reported through its official publications that the country's largest exports were from its electrical and electronic products, approximately taking close to 40% of the entire share of its overall exports, only to be followed by petroleum, palm oil, and chemical products. And the rest of it belongs to other categories that are mostly occupied by the manufacturing industry. Being an industry-driven economy is quite a profound miracle, as not every nation that has gone from being a developing nation to a developed one has done so. Quite a number of them are still heavily reliant on commodity and agriculture exports, and how Malaysia did it will be discussed a bit later. For now, before we understand how Malaysia became an export-oriented nation, we must first see who are Malaysia's biggest buyers, who are the nations that import from Malaysia the most, and why have they chosen Malaysia out of any competitive countries in Asia and especially in Southeast Asia. According to OEC, the biggest importer of Malaysian goods is China, the United States, and Singapore. 3 strategic partners are known to be the biggest economic partners of the Southeast Asian nation, but China, of course, is different. Amongst the 3, China is its biggest bilateral trade partner and is also one of its biggest in terms of investments, business cooperations, and also one of the destinations for the Chinese diaspora. Asia's largest economy has been known to be the fastest and most rapidly growing economy in the 21st century. This has led to none other than its export economy, which has touted the term quote-unquote made in China. Its products have gone from nowhere to everywhere around the world. How Malaysia has benefited from this, however, is more important than one may think. Prior to the 21st century, Malaysia's export volume was tiny compared to today's. In 1970, it had over 5 billion ringgits worth of exports, or just over $1 billion by 1990. However, it grew to $18 billion, an 18-fold in 30 years. And by 2010, it was now over $142 billion. Yet again, a huge increase in 2 decades. One of the biggest factors that led to this was its exports to China. As China's economy continued to rapidly grow, this meant that its international exports were also growing. Its manufacturing capabilities were increasing, factories after factories were opening up all over the country, and even its domestic demand played a huge role as its billion-plus population's income increased exponentially. As all of these were happening, Malaysia, a nation rich, vastly and miraculously rich in raw materials, was the chosen benefactor among many. It was exporting all of these raw materials, ranging from aluminum, iron, copper, cobalt, and more. Numerous other products that have helped China increase its manufacturing capabilities were also purchased, from rubber to petroleum to even agriculture. These have all helped build China's potential, but also benefited Malaysia, as the Southeast Asian nation has earned immensely from this. That's not to say that Malaysia's export economy was driven mainly by exports of raw materials and commodities to China. Malaysia has also exported a big chunk of manufactured products to Asia's largest economy, one that is dominated by integrated circuits. It could be attributed to also the fact that the Chinese economy was undergoing an industrial revolution, experiencing rapid growth and the need to transform its economy to become a technological and advanced nation. With Malaysia's manufacturing industry bolstered by its strong implementation to do so, it has then benefited more than what its natural resources could offer. That is also not to say that China is the only sole nation that was a big buyer of Malaysian goods. China, after all, saw its economy only to be of importance around 2011 when it surpassed the Japanese economy a year ago. It was also the same that China became Malaysia's biggest export market. It went from being an export market of just around $4 billion in 2001 to over $31.9 billion by 2021. Likewise, while China is one of many, the biggest factors in Malaysia's export economy are spread out from Japan, the United States, and the rest of Southeast Asia. Japan has played a big role along with the US, buying products ranging from what its manufacturing industry could offer to its petroleum industry, one that has seen Japan buying at large. The biggest, however, is obviously Singapore. Singapore, as a financial hub and a strategic geographic location to Malaysia, has been the factor to which Malaysia's export has earned over the decades since Singapore's economy has bolstered. Now, you might be wondering, so what if Malaysia has a strong export economy? Well, without having to dig into too many mundane details, this positive balance of trade means that it has a surplus, meaning it exports more than it imports. Although this does not always mean that having a negative trade balance is bad, as it happens to a lot of developed nations globally. This just means that the country is generating more revenue from its exports than it is incurring from its imports, as it costs them money to do so. Extra revenue, of course, will result in a healthier economy. It could also then have many domino effects across the country, from a more protected nation against its debt troubles to more government revenues and fewer risks to the national debt. It might also improve local corporations, as they are bound to earn more if Malaysia does indeed continue to position itself as a nation for these quality products. The future of its export economy, however, is presumably still going to be dominated by its manufacturing industry. The only change we may just see is that Malaysia will probably just improve its quality of products, transform its industry as the waves of the next industrial revolution take place, and ultimately keep on developing its electrical and electronic sector. What practical change may take place is if Malaysia can continuously develop its photovoltaic sector. As the world's demand shifts for more clean energy, Malaysia, which stands as the biggest manufacturer of such, can take this advantage. But as usual, whatever demand there is worldwide means that competitive pressure will take place. Malaysia just needs to innovate, as it always has, to keep up. Another factor is its automotive industry. Again, something related to the overall electric vehicle shenanigans. The world has seen a big shift across the vehicle industry when it comes to electric vehicles. We are, as some may say, at the cusp of a new beginning. Malaysia, home to a profound manufacturing capability and an already strong domestic automotive market, may one day take the region's place as a contender for these electric vehicles. Its brands, known as Proton and Peradua, may have the opportunity to hone in themselves to potentially chase after these worldwide phenomenon, but the challenge and the actual necessary skills to get there is going to need the support of more than just the company itself. It needs the government and its people to signal that they now want Malaysia's own home automotive brands to go global. But these are still in the future. Anyway, what do you think?